Pancakes and Pandemonium. I am winging it selfie style today. My camera girl's sick, so y'all shout out to Gracie to feel better. So I thought this was a good time to do some budget hauls and budget dinners, especially while I work on restocking my freezers. So I have one for you. I'm gonna show it to you. Everything on the table is what we are gonna eat for dinner next week. And then of course, you know, I'm gonna show you the dinners in this video too. But I am really excited and I think you guys are gonna like this. Everything on this table came to $50.89. And actually last night when I put this order together, it was under $50 and I should have placed the order then and scheduled it, and I didn't. I waited till this morning and a couple of items were not available and I had to buy higher priced items. So let that be a lesson to me, huh? So let me show you what I got. I've got ground beef. This was one of the items that I ended up paying more for. I have a head of garlic. I've got some breakfast sausage. I have 3 sweet potatoes. I've got a bag of finely grated Parmesan, sliced American cheese singles, loaf of French bread, a 5-pound bag of Idaho potatoes, got a small thing of chicken broth, and I debated this one because I do use Better Than Bouillon and I have it in the fridge, but I figured in the spirit of this video, I would go ahead and pick that up. I have an 8-ounce brick of extra sharp cheddar cheese. I have a package of butter, a package of spaghetti, a can of mild green chilies, and a large 12-ounce can of tuna. And yeah, I have the tuna that we usually use still in the pantry, but again, in the spirit of this video, I got that. And then I've got barbecue sauce. I have a thing of pancake syrup. I have a bottle of ranch. I have a box of pancake seasoning. I have a can of diced tomatoes and a can of tomato sauce. I have a bag of the lightly seasoned chili garlic tortilla chips. And this is another item that I ended up paying a little bit more for. And then you see right here, I've got a bag of corn, a bag of black beans, and a packet of mild chili seasoning. And last for this haul, I have a pint of heavy whipping cream and a can of evaporated milk. All right, on to the food. Okay, so on to the meals. I'm doing them a little differently this time instead of like a cook with me and recipes, because I'm doing 5 where I normally do 3. Videos that go that long don't typically do very well on my channel. So I want y'all to see these and get the information. And then of course the recipes will be up on the vlog, except for one. And when we get to it, I'll explain it to you and you'll know, and the link will be in the description box. But guys, all of these dinners came to amazing prices per serving. You guys saw the haul and the overall price. To feed my family dinners for that, especially right now, is fantastic. And like I said, I just swapped things out, and I've gone in a couple times, you guys, since then, put in, and depending on what is available and when at the moment at Walmart, these dinners can cost anywhere in my area alone from $47 to $52. So you can get these very cheap. Of course, things have to be available, which is where I got caught with a couple of items, like I said. But it's okay. We still had delicious, really great budget-friendly dinners. We started with the Tuna Helper, you guys. It was easy. We used the heavy cream, the Parmesan, a stick of butter, and the spaghetti noodles in that, and the tuna. And it was $8.38 for the meal. It made 7 servings at $1.20 per serving. Everybody loved it. And my boys who love tuna casserole said that it needs to be a regular menu item. If you grew up in the 80s and 90s like I did, Tuna Helper was a thing. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. You know, kind of hearkening back, I I went through phases as a kid. Sometimes I really loved it. Sometimes I got really burnt out on it. But this homemade version, you guys, oh my gosh, blows the box stuff out of the water. And then we did the Cowboy Salad. My family really loves Catalina salad, so I wanted to take inspiration from that and create another hearty dinner salad. Again, everyone loved it. Now, the big thing we ran into with the salad is there was a few days between the haul and when I started cooking. We had a little bit of a delay and my kids ate the chips. And I ultimately decided not to replace them given the spirit of this video. And you know, when things are tight and when you are on a tight budget, and we have definitely been there ourselves, you can't run out and replace things if they get eaten or whatnot. So we made the call not to replace the chips, and half of the bag of chips was planned for this Cowboy Salad. So the Cowboy Salad had the lettuce, the Roma tomato, the black beans, which that is one of the frugal hacks, you guys. I bought dried black beans, and 1 pound of dried black beans is the equivalent to 4 cans of black beans, and so much cheaper. And that is one of the things that drives the cost of these meals down, and they're so easy to cook. I've cooked them on my channel before. They're easy in the Instant Pot, and I did not do anything special to these. I did not even use broth. I cooked them in water, salt, and pepper. That's it. So I wanted them to not have a ton of flavor, and of course I didn't want to drive up the cost per meal. So simple, just like canned black beans. So the Cowboy Salad had, I got my notes right here, guys, had the ground beef, the lettuce, the Roma tomato, the green onions, the equivalent of 1 can of black beans, and then I made the barbecue ranch. I debated using some of the cheese. Ultimately, I decided not to this time, but you could. I just did equal parts ranch and barbecue sauce in a small mason jar. If you don't have one available, just mix it in a little bowl, poured it on top. Everyone loved it. It would be absolutely delicious with tortilla chips or Fritos if you have the room in your budget, and if not, it's okay. It was $7.88 without the chips. For the salad, it broke down to 87 cents per serving, or $1.74 per serving. The chips were an extra 87 cents. So that's what you would calculate in there for the bag. So keep that in mind. Next, we had, this is an old standby. I have been making this recipe for years. It is so cheap. It is so easy, and it is so delicious. Sausage and cheddar waffles with maple butter. And I have made the maple butter fancy with a little bit of like doing the salt myself with unsalted butter and real maple syrup. I've even put a little bit of vanilla in it, and I have done it just straight across the board with pancake syrup and butter like I did this time. Doesn't matter. My family, frankly, they can't tell the difference. So you might as well keep it simple. We used the pancake mix. We used extra sharp cheddar cheese. That's an important tip. It's an 8-ounce block. I used the whole block, and you really get kind of the bang for your buck with the flavor using it in these waffles, much more so than a milder cheese. So I highly recommend going with a sharp or an extra sharp cheddar. And then just the breakfast sausage. We used Great Value pancake waffle mix, and it mixed up pretty thick. We actually added an extra half a cup of water. We did not follow the waffle recipe. We followed the basic recipe on the back, just water, nothing fancy. Cooked the sausage, let it cool. I actually cooked the sausage the night before to make my life a little easier. Dumped it in with the cheese, stirred it in. I like a really thick waffle batter, and so we did have to thin it out a teeny bit. We put it in, and we had just these really thick, chewy waffles. They are hearty, They are filling. It made 10 rounds. So it made 10 rounds of 4. And I counted, instead of counting like each triangle, even though I know each triangle is its own waffle, I know the way my family eats, I counted each round as a serving. So it made 10 servings, 10 waffles, and at $7.91 per serving, they were 80 cents a waffle, and they were devoured. I have doubled this recipe before and froze them. That is the only way there are any carryovers, because they devour this. The butter, just whip it. You can use a mixer, you can use a fork, but it is just the butter and a half a cup of maple syrup, and you mix until it is combined, and you top those waffles with it. Mind blown. You'll want this recipe forever. So take it, make it, file it away. I promise. Okay, next up, you guys. My hero, one of my biggest YouTube inspirations, Christine, Frugal Fit Mom. I love her. She is one of the very first YouTubers I really ever watched and got into. I still watch her constantly. She is one of my favorites. And a few weeks ago, she made her mother's potato soup recipe, which is one of her favorite recipes and a budget recipe. And I like freaked out. I knew I had to try that soup. And of course I knew it would fit in perfectly into a budget recipe. Her video with that recipe I will link in the description box. Guys, it is so insanely cheap. Chicken bouillon, potatoes, half an onion. I had a giant onion. I used a half an onion. And sliced cheese slices. And I used the Walmart cheese slices. It was $5.75 to make a huge crock pot full of it. We calculated it was probably about 8 servings, and that was 78 cents per serving. I also threw in a loaf of French bread. I was, weirdly enough, one of the only people that ate it. But you guys, this is the king of potato soups. It just screams comfort food. It is everything a potato soup should be, at least in my opinion. It's perfection, and it's cheap. 78 cents a serving, and it is filling, and it is just perfection. You have to try it. And then next I did a sweet potato chili. I have made different variations of this. I have done it with ground beef, I have made it with leftover roast, and I've made it with Beyond Beef when I have found it on clearance or gotten it on a really good sale. And I've made it this way with sweet potatoes and beans. My whole family likes it, except for my 10-year-old. The beans are too prevalent, and he's not impressed. This was the other recipe that chips were intended for. It's also really good if you have it in your budget to add a sour cream and cheese to it, but it's not necessary. We ate it without. Everyone really liked it. It is delicious. It is 3 sweet potatoes, a can of black beans, a can of tomato sauce, a can of diced tomatoes, and I'm gonna tell you, those are really interchangeable. Use what's in your pantry. I have used crushed tomatoes. I've used 2 cans of sauce. I've used 2 cans of diced tomatoes. So if you have shortages in your area, this is a very forgiving recipe. And then, you know, throw in a can or 2 of water depending on consistency. Sweet potatoes, chili packet, the other half of an onion. If you want, you'll have a half a packet of corn. You could throw that in here. I didn't. I kept it pretty simple. You're gonna use a can of green chilies in this. It is just simple and easy and delicious and hearty. And if you're having a bipolar spring like we are here in Utah, it's still gonna hit the spot. Guys, it is almost summer, and we had 2 warm days this week so far, and the temperature's dropping again because it's gonna rain on Saturday. So it is still soup weather off and on here in Utah, so you never know. But guys, don't let inflation get you down, and don't feel like because of inflation or because of a tight budget, you're stuck eating boring food all the time. You can make delicious food. It takes some creativity, and use your resources. Get on YouTube, watch my channel and watch other channels. Pinterest, the ideas are out there, so you're not stuck. You can have good food and still be on a budget. And you can start with these recipes right here. I am going to make sure all of these recipes will be on my blog and ready to go when you're watching this video. So you can link to the recipes. The only recipe that will not be included is Christine's, because that's not my recipe, so I'm not going to publish it as my recipe. I have too much respect for her to do that. Her video with the recipe will be linked as well. But you guys, thank you for watching. I hope you are encouraged. I hope you are inspired, and I hope you get some amazing ideas to make some delicious budget dinners for your family. Thanks for hanging out with me. I can't wait to do this again, and trust me, we'll be doing this again. I mean, we always eat on a budget. I figured I just might as well apply it and talk about it more with you guys. So I had fun doing this. I had fun breaking it down for you guys. So make sure you come back. Can't wait to share it with you. I'll see you soon. Bye.